Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the C Files. Thank you for joining us again. Just getting over being sick with, I think, the flu symptoms. I don't run to the doctor every time I get a sniffle or stomach issue or headaches. The normal stuff that comes with normal seasonal illness. Matter of fact, I hardly ever go to a doctor anymore. I just don't trust them any longer. I don't, once a profession has shown itself to be untrustworthy, which has happened over the last 3 years when it comes to the doctors. It's I can't trust them anymore. I can't believe anything they tell me. It's not that they're not professionals or they've had all that medical training. That has nothing to do with it. It's how nefarious are their lies. Over the last 3 years, there was a lot of lying going on. A lot of lying going on. And they told us things that were not true. And YouTube won't allow us to talk about those things because they get all uppity and triggered and sensitive about it, and they want to censor you for it. Because they have issues that they haven't dealt with, in my opinion. Some people who monitor YouTube for violations probably need to go see a good therapist and deal with their issues, because apparently they get triggered by things they shouldn't be triggered by. And apparently there are interpretations of the standards, what do you call them, the community guidelines on YouTube, that need to be interpreted a little bit better than what they are. And the way the artificial intelligence is set on it, maybe that needs to be tweaked a little bit too. You know why? Because people are dying because they're being denied the truth. You got it? We're heading toward 2024, folks. We've passed the Christmas season. And everybody celebrate the way they celebrate, however it is you celebrate. And we're heading to 2024. And 2024 is going to be a rough year. It's an election year. And election years are always odd years, and they can be exciting, they can be disappointing, they can be rough, but in this case, because there are those who are high places of power who have nefarious plans for humanity, and they are in desperation because they're being exposed, and they are in panic mode, and they are in, okay, let's throw the Hail Mary, or let's throw everything we have at them in 24, because they have to stop a particular individual from becoming president, because they know that if he gets in the office, he will be going full-blown samurai attack, ninja attack, ballistic, however you want to say it. He is going to be coming after them with a vengeance. And he will, expect if a certain individual gets not hired, but elected in November, that there will be mass layoffs or firings in the federal government. And we the people, we've watched over the years as we have fallen under oppression from those bureaucracies and pushing their agendas, and they're pushing the fear. I expect the fear to ramp up really big, especially when it comes to climate change. Climate change is going to be the big subject, the fear, right? And they're going to ramp that as much as they can. And electric cars. Let me get on that for just a moment. GM and Ford are giving up on electric cars because they're saying we're losing our tails. Our sales are dropping to nothing, and it's all on the electric cars. They're not selling, folks. Nobody wants them. They can talk about how great they are, and they're going to save the planet and save the environment and all this, which, by the way, I personally, based upon my own research, don't believe any of that. We're not saving anything as far as I'm concerned. And apparently there's a whole bunch of scientists that feel the same way because they signed a petition. I mean, thousands of scientists who signed a petition saying, no, we're not buying into what the WHO is saying about climate change. Now, you can have your opinion. You can have your research, your thoughts on it. And if you believe in all that stuff, okay, more power to you. But I don't. And the point is that they're going to push that heavy, and the electric cars are not selling. And what is Dodge doing? And Stellantis in general, they're just now starting to enter into the electric car market. All that money, all that research and development, all of that attempt to get in with what they thought the next market was going to be, electric, and Ford and GM are jumping out because they're seeing that it's a dead end. Now, if you want to bankrupt a car company, tell them to go electric. They'll go bankrupt because the people don't want those pieces of junk. I'm sorry, but they're pieces of junk. When the batteries go bad on them, that's it. You might as well just junk the whole car because the battery costs as much as the car does. It's like when you're looking at, okay, do I replace the engine and the transmission on a car and keep it running, or do I just junk the car and get another one because it's just not worth the cost, right? That's a decision you have to do the math and make the decision. And I don't always do it based upon what will the car sell for. I do it based upon how much more life can I get out of the car if I drop an engine in it or transmission. Will it give me another 5 years? Will it give me another 6 years? Will it give me another 10 years? If it will, then it's probably worth it because I can drop an engine and transmission in it cheaper than I can buy another car. But that's the calculations each person has to do for themselves. But when you do the calculations on electric, number one, they're very expensive to buy. The batteries are expensive. The batteries, what do you do with them after they go bad? I mean, they're toxic waste. I remember in the 70s, 80s, the debates they had about nuclear power plants and the toxic waste from nuclear power plants. What do you do with the toxic waste? How do you, they talked about how polluting it was and how dangerous it was to humanity, that toxic waste. We have ion-based batteries that in electric cars that also are toxic waste, and they're harmful to the environment and to humans. What do you do with that? And where do you get all of the precious minerals, the lithium or whatever else it might be required to make those batteries, to build all the cars? You don't have enough of that. And then the slave labor that goes into it, The strip mining of the land or whatever, however they do it. I mean, I've noticed that they just start stripping the land and digging for it. And to say that is environmentally friendly, but throwing carbon out your tailpipe is not environmentally friendly, is to insult the intelligence of the people. Okay? That's insulting our intelligence. Carbon is required in the atmosphere. Trees have to have carbon to live. And right now, the trees are flourishing. And that's a good thing, because there's a lot of carbon being thrown in there. But the trees absorb a lot of that carbon. It doesn't all go up in the atmosphere and threaten the planet. Trees take it in and produce oxygen. And the greener the planet is, the better the planet is. So, I mean, and these cars are so efficient now. They're making them very, very efficient. If you get a gas engine with electric assist, that's more practical, because you're not polluting the planet with a battery that has to be discarded, that is toxic. It's a toxic waste. The gas engine runs the electric motors. A small, gas engine that is efficient, and they are very efficient. They don't put out hardly any pollution anymore. With an electric assisted motor is plenty of power for a car to run down the road. And the gas mileage is better, it's more efficient. The problem that you have with them, though, is you have more parts that are going to break on the car. And so then you start having a dependability issue. And so just like in the 70s, when they had to kind of figure out the fuel injection and the catalytic converters and all that, they had to figure that out. They're going to have to figure out this technology too, and make it more dependable, make it more practical, have infrastructure. I'm not against clean, efficient energy. I'm just against fraud. I'm against telling people that this is a clean, renewable energy that's effective and it's our future, when it's junk. That's what I'm against. I'm against lying to people. I'm against presenting a piece of junk to defraud the people and get them to believe something that's not true. That's what I don't like. So what's going to happen in 2024? A lot of that. A lot of defrauding, a lot of deception, a lot of lying, a lot of fear-mongering, a lot of trying to get people stirred up with fear, trying to get people into a civil war here in the United States, trying to get wars going in Europe, wars going in Asia. I mean, it's always the same people at the top that keep messing with the planet, messing with humanity, and causing all of this destruction. You leave people alone, let them just live their lives. Guess what? Things get more peaceful. The planet gets better. People start coming up with innovative solutions to problems. Because you're leaving them alone and you're just letting them do their thing, Why haven't we cured cancer? Anybody want to know? Any guesses out there? Did you know if we cured cancer, there's an entire medical industry that would go out of business? How many people would lose their jobs if we cured cancer? Think about that. How many research facilities, how many cancer medical facilities would go out of business if we cured cancer? If they weren't able to diversify and go into some other area of medicine, then they would simply go out of business. Thousands upon thousands of jobs lost. Millions upon millions of dollars not being granted to these institutions, these institutes that are doing the research. Gone. The economic impact of curing cancer would be enormous. Now, let me ask the question again. Why haven't we found a cure to cancer? I'll let you come to your own conclusions on that one. Why is it somebody can go to a neuropathic doctor and all of a sudden, wow, it just starts clearing up. Oh wow, and they're feeling better, and their body is starting to function normally, and there's no more signs of this big C word. Odd. But all the other therapies, like the chemotherapy, just don't seem to do the job like half the time. Wonder what that's all about. Well, all I know is that the world runs on money, and when something starts being funded heavily by grants and government, it's eternal. It's eternal. It would take an act of God to get rid of it. I mean, that's where it is, folks. Think about it. So, in 2024, get ready for a rough ride. Prepare yourself mentally and spiritually for what's about to come. I think the entire year of 2024 is going to be a real battle. It's going to be the pinnacle of the info war. It's going to be the pinnacle of the psi warfare of World War III. And we are in World War III right now. It's not a shooting war, or what they call a kinetic war. It's a psychological war. It's an info war and a psychological warfare. And I'll also say it's biological and chemical. And so it's going to heat up tremendously in 2024. And the reason is because the people who are pushing the psychological warfare against us and the info war against us and the censorship and everything that comes along with it, they are going to be going ballistic in 2024 because they're scared. Because they know that they are on their last leg, and if they don't win 2024, they lose the entire thing. That's where we are. But you know what? That's also true on our side. That's why 2024 will be so important. If we don't win 2024, we could be locked down under prison planet for decades, for generations to come. And so this is going to be the battle of the Bulge. 2024 will be the battle of the Bulge. And that's when, that was the final big, huge battle between the German army and the Allied forces. And Germany threw everything they had at the Allies. And it's a very famous battle in history. And a lot of lives were lost, and the Allies got hit hard in the battle, but still ended up winning the war. In Germany, they had a good strategy. They had they brought it, man. They really brought it when it came to the Battle of the Bulge. And I expect the same thing to happen when it comes to the New World Order, the deep state, whatever it is you want to call it, the globalists. There's all kinds of names for them. Some say Zionist. They're going to throw everything they have at us in 2024. Everything they can think of. It's going to be the Battle of the Bulge. But guess what? The people of the world, especially when it comes to the rural areas, people who have lived hard lives, they've learned how to endure through hardship, and we've gone through a lot of hardship in the last 3 years. They will have a resolve and a strength that the people running the New World Order, the NWO, I'll just say it that way, they will not understand that. They're not going to understand the common people like us. They're not going to understand our strength and our resolve and our ability to endure hardship. They're not going to understand it because they don't have that. Because, they've had a silver spoon in their mouth, right? They've grown up with things being easy for them. And so they don't have that. And so they don't understand it. And they underestimate our ability to fight back. And so how do we fight back against a deep state that wants to enslave us? It's simple. If it's a mandate, not a law, but a mandate, which mandates are not laws, they're just some government official who claims some authority or power, arbitrarily mandating things upon people and expecting and demanding that they abide by it. There's not been anything proposed in legislature. Legislature hasn't passed anything. The governor or the president has not signed anything. It's just a mandate. Almost like an executive order, right? If it's a mandate, I am not going to obey it. I believe mandates are unconstitutional and illegal. They don't abide by the law of the land. It's government officials who go power hungry and think they can just dictate to everyone else what they're to do. So, number one, resist. Don't let them boss you around. Number two, don't fall into the fear-mongering. Don't fall into the fear-mongering. They're going to push fear as hard as they can. Fear over a dying planet because we're killing the planet, right? I just finished a Star Trek series. While I was sick, I was watching Star Trek because I have a hard time reading when I'm sick because I can't comprehend. And when I'm sick, my comprehension of the reading, and it hurts my eyes to read and stuff, I can't do it very well. So I just watch a series I enjoy watching, and I noticed there's a few themes in Star Trek that I noticed that they push agendas, And one of them is, we're killing the planet, They went back to 2024 from the 24th or 25th century, and these people are killing the planet, And so this theme is found in movies and shows, and you see it all over the place. And it's the fear-mongering. They really, really push hard, the fear-mongering. Don't buy into it. Don't be fearful. God's in control of his universe. God is in control of this planet. And if God doesn't want anything to happen to this planet, it's not going to happen. It's that simple. We can't kill a planet that God wants to keep alive. I'll say it again. We cannot kill a planet that God wants to keep alive. Period. I mean, we can intentionally try to do it and we wouldn't succeed. Okay? Because God will keep everything in balance. That's how it works. All right? I don't believe in God. Well, there's your first problem. You might want to resolve that one before you can get to step 2. So, so anyway, so don't buy into fear mongering. So what else could we do to fight back in 2024? Well, I think we're already doing it. Don't buy what they're trying to shove down our throat, like electric cars. And the only reason they're pushing electric cars is because they know electric cars won't work. They know that electric cars are going to fail, and that they're not going to be any good. See, California's trying to eliminate all internal combustion engine vehicles and go strictly electric, because the next step behind that is you get rid of cars altogether. Well, they say, well, see, cars have failed, cars have not worked, cars have been, they've been a total failure, so we're not going to do cars anymore. It's all going to be mass transit according to what we determine, and we will determine how much you can travel every year, how far you can travel, when you can travel, and we will have a social credit score to monitor all of that. That's what they want. That's the end game, folks. They're trying to kill the car industry. They really are. And the car industry is suffering right now. They are going through, there's some success in what they're trying to do, because the car industry is really, really suffering right now. They're not selling cars right now. It's just not happening. Now, can they recover? They can recover if the car industry is smart and stops listening to the globalists. If they will quit listening to the globalists and do what the car industry does best, and that is innovate and sell, then they would be successful. And I think GM and Ford has decided that that's what they're going to do. They're going to innovate and sell and forget the globalists. We're not going to go bankrupt just because the globalists want us to. All right? And that's where that is. All right, so there's 3 things we could do in 2024 to fight back. But I'm getting close to my destination, so I'm going to have to end the video here pretty soon. So my question is to you. We have a collective mind, right? We have collective brain power among communities, and I have faith in God. My trust in people is it wanes to some degree, mainly because of what I did for 30 years as I was in law enforcement. But I do believe in the ability of the people to innovate and to solve problems and to come up with solutions. God gave us that ability, and I believe that people, if you let them, if you free them and let them innovate and let them, do what they need to do to solve their own problems, that they will do it. And I trust in that. And I also trust in keeping government local. The more local government is, the smaller, the further down you can go with government, like to the township or the city, municipal level of government, the county level of government, the easier and better you can solve the problems, because you have educated people, smart people in every county in the country that know how to solve problems of all sorts, infrastructure problems, you name it. You got mechanics everywhere that can work on vehicles. I mean, there's anything that you can come up with, any kind of problem, it can be solved locally. I do believe that. And when you have local innovation, how many different experiments do you have? Well, in states, you have 50 different experiments. How many counties are there in the United States? I have no idea. And how many provinces are there around the world, right? In different countries. You bring the problem solving to be local, the solutions are going to be flying out. I mean, they're going to be solutions coming from all over the place that are good solutions to a lot of problems. And they're going to be different kinds of solutions. And when you free that up, you solve the problems and things get fixed. And guess what? The marketplace will decide these things because people are very practical, okay? They're very practical. And they know what they need in their life. They know what they need in their house or in what needs to be done to their car or what needs to be done to clean up their neighborhood, things of that nature. You go neighborhood by neighborhood and clean up the problems, you have solved a major portion of the problems in the world. And let medical professionals innovate. Stop they're trying to regulate from the top down, and they're stifling innovation. They're stifling medical solutions to problems because it becomes a bureaucratic state. And bureaucratic states are absolutely useless. They solve nothing. And they resolve nothing. The only thing they do is put power in the hands of very egotistical, very narcissistic, and power-hungry people. Keep the solutions and the government local, where the people have the power, and the servants, like the city council members and the local elected officials, they are servants of the people. And in the city I live in, it's a city of 5,000 people. The city council here is very, very responsive to the people because they have to be. They have no choice. If they weren't responsive to people, they'd be gone, you know? And that's why you keep it local. The power is with the people. All right. And the real power, of course, we all know this, is with God Almighty. And Jesus Christ is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And the future is in God's hand. And we trust in Him. Thanks for watching. God bless. I'll see you next time on the C-Files.